Money Phone.
Special guests, Enoch and David.
What's up?
Hey, this is a long time coming. We were talking to a couple people and they were like, yeah, I'm surprised you guys haven't had them on yet. So,
yeah, we just,
we go.
I mean, it was actually our fault.
yeah, it was.
Like, I'd be like, okay, next week we're gonna do it. I'm like locked in on Monday, and I was like, oh no, like, what have I done? I was like busy, and I was just like, these guys don't think I'm just like stringing them along. And then even moving yesterday too, I was just like, oh god, like I swear we're not normally like this. We're actually not. Like we've been like surprisingly professional for like, and you guys are just the one time where like things just weren't lining up.
But we're here.
We're here.
It's happening.
We made it.
It's
And
happening.
we're excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm on it. I'm a long time listener.
You got a snowflake in the house?
Cheers to the snowflakes.
Yeah.
So let's start with talking about like faith and stuff.
Oh.
Because I wanted to talk about.
Like as a concept or the other?
Well, we can go.
We'll get there.
I have a feeling we're gonna go down that route.
Let's go
anyway,
right into
so let's ease into things a little bit. I want to talk more about like the sort of almost 2-year kind of break you guys had, and was that because of COVID, or was that actually just time to like write and like work?
Well, I mean, I guess it was pretty much just like a write and work thing because we finished Faith right before COVID. Like,
Yeah.
kind of like we were putting the finishing touches of it beginning of 2020. And then we kind of jumped into our record like right away, the one we've been like continuously working on. And then the rest of that was just kind of like getting Faith out was just doing all the like, I don't know, paperwork stuff and all that kind of like that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like COVID wasn't like a huge thing. Like in terms of like, well, no, wait. Wait, it was a huge thing.
It was just the cold,
but it wasn't like a huge thing in terms of like putting stuff out.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah.
we weren't like, oh, it's COVID, like we need to take a break.
Right.
I honestly think like it was good because I think like everyone has sort of been saying it was like that time to just like, you know, you had no choice but to be inside and like lock in on something.
Slow down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I think where we were at too, I almost feel like that would have happened regardless.
Right.
You know, save for like we didn't have any like crazy shows lined up or like a big like run of like marketing stuff after Faith came out. And we were already starting like the other record well into the year.
Right.
So I think it got to that thing where like we sort of, it just made sense like for things to take that long. Like we started and then in 2020 near the end of the year we had like an almost finished version of the record, and then we kind of just restarted.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm always fascinated by that because, like, at what point do you consider it over on your end as far as the writing side goes? You know, because it kind of never really ends.
Yeah.
And you have to like make this like conscious decision, be like, this is the project, like this is it. But like,
Yeah, I think it took us like in terms of like restarting and stuff. That was like a slow process of like slowly each song
just gets cut.
got phased out. Oh, we don't like this anymore. And then also like I don't know, it was like new genre type, new inspiration. So it was also like learning how to like make that type of music.
Yeah.
We had this funny joke that like all the like early demos of the record was like the same sensibilities as like what we were doing with Faith, and then like putting like a breakbeat sample over top of it, like it's dance music now, like you know, like, and then we sort of like got out of that, and that's kind of like why I got phased out in terms of like knowing when it's
You
over.
discovered the amen break.
Yeah. Literally like, yo, we like
One hell of a break.
it's a great break, and then like there was like that and splice samples, and then we were like,
Don't even get me started on
and
the secret.
it was a good like introduction.
Yeah.
But then knowing when it was over, I think for me, it was hard to know when it was done.
Yeah.
Because I think we had like a good 3 or 4 months near the tail end of recording.
Yeah.
Where for me, I was like, I don't know if we're done yet, you know? And we were still pushing for like new songs.
Right.
And then we got some stuff out of it, and it was a worthy time.
Yeah.
But I think that was the first time that
When was this, sorry? Like, when did this have been?
I guess early this year.
Yeah, early this year.
Yeah, like the first few months of this year.
Yeah.
And then, but it was like the first time that I think I had to like, for myself, like had to push to know that it was over.
Right.
You know what I mean? Usually it's like you finish and then that song is done and you're like, I'm done.
Well, the worst feeling ever is when you think you're done and then you just like make something new just for the sake of making something new. And you're like, it's got to be on the album. And it's like, fuck. But it's like too late. You know.
And then you like discover something in that new song that you like want to implement in all the other ones too.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like literally what that beginning of 2021 period was. That like we were just like making like, we're like, okay, we need to like kind of wrap it up. And then we just started making songs in this like really rapid pace because we just hit something. And I pretty much like gutted the album after that.
So did you gut the whole album, or did anything like make it or evolve into like a new version or something?
I think Coming Back Around, the song that we just put out, that was like, we had a version of that from 2020.
Yeah.
That like didn't go anywhere for such a long time.
Right.
And then I think ourselves and like everyone around us was kind of like, yo, you should finish that.
And then back around.
And so we kind of we like stuck by it, and then we did a good chunk of it in 2020, and then restarted in 2021, and then did the finishing touches in 2022.
Okay. I mean, that's the pretty like standard like making an album amount of time, as opposed to just being like, you know, you're like working on something and like, you know, it's done.
But it's the opposite of what most people do nowadays, which is just like drop single after single after single after single and like have such like a fast pace of.
Well, there's something to be said about actually taking your time versus
Mm-hmm.
just like trying to, you know, like keep up and like stay relevant or whatever, you know, which is like bullshit. And like you should like never like fall into that. It's like, you know, unless you're like, I don't know, like Lil Wayne in fucking 2010 or something, you're dropping like crazy shit, it's all good. Like that's pretty rare, you know? And like there's something to be said about taking your time and actually like being like.
Randomly with you guys, I feel like I never saw you really drop off. Like I feel like you guys were. I feel like there was a presence somehow.
Well, there was a
still.
fucking billboard there.
Yeah, there was a presence in other ways. You know?
So we knew they were still there.
It's funny you say that.
I don't know why.
I feel like we've almost been feeling the opposite, and it's like feeling the pressure now that like, okay, we really gotta like stay on it because like
you gotta post on Instagram.
literally. It's like we post on our like personals, but the Money Phone account will kind of be this like ghost entity that will just like pop up with a post every 6 months or something like that.
But it's funny that Austin said that because I actually agree that I didn't realize that you guys hadn't done anything in a while until I was just like looking on Spotify today and I saw the gap between 2020 and 2022. And I was like, huh. But you're right. Like I kind of just like weirdly just continued to just assume that things were, and obviously they were happening.
Yeah.
But it never felt like you went anywhere.
Because you're constantly like posting like work in progress, not like work in progress music, but like you guys are showing that there's stuff going on behind the scenes and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It always just felt like you guys were still around.
Let's go. Thank God.
Now that I never forgot about you boys.
So what was this house you guys recorded in?
The one like small town one or whatever.
Oh, in Tiny.
Was it town's actually called Tiny?
Tiny.
I couldn't
Tiny
tell if it was
Ontario.
I couldn't tell if it was like in the tiny town. Or it's like maybe there's like some grammatical errors in this post. I don't know.
No, Tiny is like near Midland.
Oh yeah.
And then we went there. We kind of went there on a whim.
Yeah.
We were like, we found the place, and the place was like fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we just like decided to go like record there.
And that was version 1 or version 2 of the album?
Version, I guess, in between versions. Yeah. I guess that kind of was like the transitory sort of time. Because I was in like the fall or something
Of 2020.
Of 2020.
Okay.
So we had spent the summer having like a bunch of people at our place.
Yeah.
Just like in and out. I think there was like a time where there was like a few people staying with us like for like a month. And the whole thing was like, it was like a lot of like musician friends and stuff.
Were these collaborations, or were these kind of more vibes, or like
collaborations and vibes?
I mean, they go hand in hand.
But our friend Isaiah, who goes by Bad Childs, was like very integral to the like shaping of the sound. He's like a genius. And he stayed with us for like a month, and then we met our friend TC. Shout out to TC. He also sings on "Call Me Back Around."
Nice.
And we had met him the weekend before through like a mutual friend, and he came over for the weekend. And we had so much fun. We were like, he packed clothes for like 2 days, and we were like, we're going here for like a week or something. Like, do you want to come? He was like, yeah.
Those are always the best moments though, when you just like you really click with someone and just go like, well, it's honestly kind of what happened with us. Like I literally had never met this guy. we were like chatting one day, and I was like, "What's our podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah," and here we are. But those things happen when you like when you actually vibe with someone. It's just like you're just like you don't even really think about it. You kind of just roll with it.
It's completely unconscious.
No, TC is great. He's like a child at heart in the best way. Like he just had his second kid.
Oh, sick.
But like he is the most fun to be around. And then switches into like father mode.
Right. So you can turn it on and turn it on.
Yeah.
That's kind of the sick thing about fatherhood is you can kind of be both. You get to be a child again and a father, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he was, I don't know.
You have to get down on their level.
It's funny, like chilling with him, because I don't know, I could only imagine the pressures of being like a young father. And then like chilling with him, and he was like,
just acting 16 years old,
like literally like making fart jokes. This is sick.
Like this kid,
and then just
saying, this guy on the record.
saying some like crazy shit. Like just like looking at you and like knowing everything you're thinking.
Right.
Okay.
So he's on a higher level.
Fifth dimensional being.
Crazy. So hold on. So going back to this like whole dance music thing, when did? Because so I obviously haven't heard the new record. Which, by the way, when is it coming out?
Probably early 2023.
Okay.
Sick.
When did this happen, and how did this happen? Because I feel like it's almost like I almost want to say it's like an age thing, because I always hated dance music when I was younger. You know what I mean? It was just kind of the last thing that I thought was cool. You know? And then like something clicked at some point in my life, and I was like, oh, this shit's crazy. You know? But like, you know, like growing up, you're kind of like, you know, it's not, I mean, I guess it is always cool, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's never something that you necessarily like aspire to like either create or bring into your sound until like something clicks. But how did it happen for you guys?
I think it was like, it was kind of on a whim. Like me and David just had a discussion where we're like, okay, we want to work on the next record, and like, what should we do for it? Just like for fun. And we brought up this idea of dance music, and then that's how you start with the version that's like your old sensibilities, like over dance beats. But I think as we slowly integrated ourselves into like what it means to be a dance musician, what the culture like means in general, it became so much more impactful, and almost like it mirrored the growth that we were feeling as like, you know, boys who were becoming men.
Boys, you
heard it here first.
No,
That's a soundbite right there. And possibly a meme.
I think it's like the age thing is like funny, because I think like it kind of was something that just like clicked. Because it was the same shit. Like I remember in high school, like Enoch showing me like an Aphex Twin record, which is like obviously like that's your intro to dance music, you know. And then like, but I was like, I don't get it.
No,
like, this shit is like boring. Like,
you're lying if you say the first time you heard Aphex Twin you loved it. You're lying. Like I remember like putting on a movie, like, what the fuck is this? Like no. And then now he's one of my favorite people.
But the only person to love Aphex Twin from the beginning is Tom.
I don't know if I believe him. I don't know if I believe him. It was like a kid listening to like Window Licker being like. But yeah, so what were was there like any specific artists though that like, or did you guys like, or DJing or anything? Because I feel like that's kind of another sort of entry point into like, because you start like, you know, like messing with like BPMs
and feeling the crowd
yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like DJing, we had done a little bit, but we were never like crazy, like in the scene type DJs.
Yeah.
We did like one set at a, what's it called? Rainbow Palace.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dark.
Whoa.
Yeah. Dark.
Damn, that's a throwback.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then like, but I guess that's like sort of opened things up.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of like artists, I like the Aphex Twin stuff.
Yeah, and I think what actually ended up being funny is like we got into ambient music first, I think, and then like feeling those sensibilities and how that like merges with dance ended up being what was the like
Right.
Yeah.
Sort of like
inspiring
euphoric,
part.
like
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, I think that was a big thing. And then like all the like sort of what's it called? Like entry level point, Burial.
Yeah.
you can't even say entry. That's just the goat. Right?
Yeah. But like it's like the stuff, and then like like all the stuff, the people on like the Posh Isolation label,
fucking
all
goated.
that stuff.
Great label.
So sick.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go to Copenhagen.
They really got something going on there.
Yeah. I think there was a point where I would just like be on their website and just like, and which is funny because that was like the first time in a long time that I would like go on a website to find new music.
Oh yeah.
You know?
No, that feeling is like I love, and it's rare when you find like something that's either, you know, say a scene or a label or a thing, and then like you're kind of like, I need to hear all of these releases.
Yeah.
And like all the, especially with Posh Isolation, like all the album covers are like sick. Like everything is just like so well executed that you're just like, I don't even know what this guy's name, like I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name or like what it is, but like I guarantee you it's fire. Like, that's like kind of like what happened with me with that label. It's just like, I'm like, I know I'm gonna like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it. And then like after, I don't know, I'm trying to remember like what it was. It's been a while since we were like recording. But I think for me there was a while too where I don't think we were really listening to music like that.
Just because like, you know, they were working on the record, listening to it.
Do you guys not listen to music when you're like working on a record?
I feel like it's kind of like a natural thing, especially if you're right in the thick of it, recording, because it's like your life becomes about recording. So it's like, we just finished a song, I want to listen to this song and then work on it tomorrow. So it just gets hard to find time.
Like,
I also find like if I almost like finding something like too good while you're like in the midst of recording is like kind of damaging. Because you're either like I suck, or you're like I need to find a way to copy that, and then you just try way too hard to like copy it. You know?
That's how I feel about like watching movies. When I'm writing a movie, I'll just like I'll get pulled in a direction that's so far off, and you can see it in the writing where it's just like, how did I get here? This makes no sense. This makes no fucking sense for the story.
I kind of like. I completely agree, but I also like I completely agree, but I never actually do what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Like I just like can't help but like listen to things, especially when I'm recording. Like not necessarily like between takes, but like you know, like I'll like go out or like go for a walk and like put something else on to kind of like just like switch the vibe or like kind of like turn off. And then I always find that it's like more so about not ripping off the thing that I'm hearing that I like, but like trying to like create that same feeling. Like whether it's like a sound that just goes like, or I'm just kind of like, I'm like, I want that. As opposed to being like, I want it to, you know, I'm gonna sample these drums.
I mean, trying to listen like to like a bunch of things helps, because I think like, you get in that thing of like, yo, I need to copy like how someone did these drums or like whatever. And then I also find that like there were times for me, like when I fell into this thing of like not listening to enough stuff. And then I would make like the same beat like for a week straight with like a bunch, and like we would get in that thing of like, yo, we just tried to make the same song like 20 fucking times. Like, give it up.
No, I'm literally.
Chords ain't working, bro.
Like, this is like such a thing, because this is literally the mode that I'm in right now. Where I was on like a string of like a bunch of like different sounding things for like one project. And then was just like in my head being like, I'm on fucking fire right now, like song after song after song. And I was like, wait, these are all just the same thing, like, reiterated versions of the same thing.
Yeah.
And I had to just like take a break later and just be like, I'm out for a bit.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about filmmaking is like every filmmaker I feel like is making the same film their whole life. Do you know what I mean? Like you're constantly repeating yourself in that way. It's a lot different than the song because like the structure and stuff. Those things you can tell when they're repeated.
But I would equate song and like musicians and directors as kind of like, you know, like Quentin Tarantino. Like all his movies are like similar.
Yeah.
But like a lot of artists in music will fit into a similar genre, or not even genre, but just like vibe. Like unless you're like go like full 180, but like. So I don't know about that. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm writing one story for my whole life.
It's under fire.
There's only one.
I mean, if it works. Well, in the whole film thing then, because like visuals are such, and I've told you this drunk many times. I was like, or actually both of you, but I know it's always Enoch. I'm always like, bro, you guys are marketing geniuses. And I stand by this. Like, I stand by this. But like, there's such a strong visual component to the music, and we were even talking about it with Patrick Holland on the last pod.
Yeah.
And I was just saying how you ever listen to something and you're like, this is so fucking good. This album cover is so bad.
Yeah. The whole brand image is
But like with you guys, so like my point is that obviously you guys put like as much care into the visual side of things as you do the music, which I think is extremely important. Like how does this like who's like what's the
it feels like Moneyphone isn't just you guys by any means.
That's
right.
Another
like
part.
Moneyphone's Nick. It's it's like it's the whole team around you, which I think helps this
for sure. Yeah, I mean the visual stuff we all kind of have a hand in it, but definitely a big part is it not being just us. Shout out to Nick and Emily and Costa.
Well, I was even listening to like Faith today and just like watching all the Canvas Spotify things.
Yeah,
and I was just like, this is so sick and just so considered. You know, and it's like, and I love the fact that it goes through all the people and then it ends with you guys. It's like there's so many things that like clearly you thought about. You know? It's not just like
it's very intentional.
Yeah, I think like we're all like sort of like interested in like visual stuff. I mean, Enoch, before we were working with like anyone else in the early stages, like he was the sole designer of like everything, and now it's like you and Nick, you know, and then like we were like directing all our own videos, and now it's like we still kind of like all direct. And it like, well, I think our interests, you know, they lie in music, but outside of it as well. You know, like
the package is important. The whole thing is important.
That's what I was gonna say. That like I think we're package people, and like you know, a lot of people or like a lot of artists now come from a line because there's been like, you know, like Tyler, Kanye, whatever, who create those packages, but that's like kind of like what inspires us.
For sure. No, totally. And like same, it's like I think it's so important to just like actually just present the work in the best possible way that it can be presented.
Or you're doing an injustice to the work if you don't put enough effort into everything else around it too. I think,
yeah. Like, why would you put your life into an album and have a shitty cover?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, sometimes taste.
No, I mean that's rude, but I mean, you know, you got you put thought into it. Be around people who you trust.
Well, and that seems to be a big thing. Is like it's like, I don't know if it's necessarily the intention to like create this big brand around Moneyphone, but it's the creating the family that I think comes first around Moneyphone, right? It's having all the people, and then the brand comes from that. Like the whole image of it stems from that, from the family.
Yeah.
I mean, totally. I think me and David are like kids at heart in the sense that like we just like hanging with our friends. And like, and truthfully, like it's been so amazing having like people kind of like come into our lives and then like being like, okay, wait, you can actually do this thing like if you want, and like building out roles and like having the whole team kind of really organically like just like fill itself up and just getting to like hang out with your friends the whole time.
And I think it's sick too to be able to, because you find so many artists with the sort of ego that comes with it, they want to do it all themselves when their skill set might not actually, you know, be there, you know. So it's like, I think it's like amazing to be like, you know what, like if you're fucking amazing at Photoshop, like you do that. I won't do that, you know?
Yeah.
And like if you're like actually, you know, like super interested in like directing, like you can take over on this video, and like letting go of like the project in a way that like creates like a community, I think is like super important.
Yeah.
And I think it's what's like lasting and what like makes you guys stand out, because it's like there's this, like I see people on your Instagram that you're like working with that I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, this is just like part of the like extended like universe.
Money phone universe.
MCU.
There you go. The MONEYPHONE Cinematic Universe. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's kind of it. It's all like sharing responsibilities and like learning to put the ego away.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, you can't be 100% all the time, but that's what makes it worth it. You know what I mean? And like, but I mean, everyone like fits in neatly. Like, I can't design for my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how to use Photoshop or Illustrator. I'll get there one day. But like,
Or you just might never have to.
If all goes to plan.
but like, but so it's like, yeah, one of those things where I'm like, well, I'll give my input on like how, you know, a t-shirt or like a cover should look. But like, if someone's like, yo, this works, I'm like, okay, who am I to say no?
And I think the nice part too is something that I think we've tried to do is like build together as well. That like, I don't know, when me and David started making music, we weren't the best at it, but like we gave each other space to grow. And everyone who's become a collaborator, something that we like hope to offer is just like a space where you can grow and try things and like, you know, get an opportunity to do something that you might just like be nervous about or something.
For sure.
How'd you guys do it? Like, how'd you create this family? I don't understand. I know, but like genuinely, and I know the answer is gonna, like, I kind of know what the answer is gonna be, but like, it seems like what most people are trying to do with their lives and fail to do time and time again. I don't understand. I don't know.
I mean, obviously, it came over a long period of time. You know, and like, I think in terms of like how, like, it was kind of just like you meet the right people at the right time, and you kind of like you take that sort of risk in terms of like working with them, but also like hanging out with people outside of like doing the work. You know what I mean?
And I think it's interesting because like I always kind of talk about, and like what I like actually like really appreciate about you guys, and I always try to do it as well, is when I associate your scene or your crew, whatever you want to call it, I don't associate it with a sound. I associate it with like friendship.
Yeah, it's
and
like
we were saying with Jonah, it's like you guys like are like part of this crew, but your music is totally different, and that's the sickest thing. Like not to be like I don't like when bands that all sound the same hang out. Like, do what you want to do. I don't care. But I'm just saying, like, I always found it a little strange when it's all people who are just like, I make indie rock. I also make indie rock. I also make indie rock. Or I rap and I rap and I rap and I. It's just like, don't you like? It seems very forced, and it seems like you're just projecting this kind of like, we're a crew of rappers, as opposed to being like, no, my friend is in like a weird like tech metal band. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like more about like the friendship and like that being the actual scene than like this like sound.
And it's so boring when you do it that way.
Shit.
Like for real, like I think like in like what 2015 or 2016 when we were like just before MONEYPHONE was like a thing, we like did our little like indie circuit around Toronto, you know, playing at Smiling Buddha.
I remember those days.
Playing at Cinecycle, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, that was like, you know, the band didn't end up working out that we were in, but also it was like, I was like, we're playing with the same people all the time and playing to the same people, which is like fine, you know. But I think it also got into that thing of like, we're like, everyone's doing the same shit, but what's worse is like no one likes anything else. You know what I mean?
This is also why like I got tired of DJing. Like, I don't DJ. Well, I mean, I did last night. But like, you know, it was like, it became this thing where it was like, I can't go watch people DJ every Saturday night.
Yeah.
I need variety.
Yeah.
Like I need to go see a band one day. I need to go see a DJ the next. And I need to go to like something else. Like I just need like different things.
For sure.
And these things get so insular. And like and again, I'm not like talking any shit. Like there's nothing wrong with like if that's your thing and like you only care about like DJing, then that's like sick. And many of my friends are like that. And I think that's great. Yeah. But for me personally, I just like strive for like more. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like even the shit, like not to harp too much on that, like time or whatever. But it was like that thing of like, I don't know. It's like if there's like 30 people in the basement of Smiling Buddha and you put on a rap song, like everyone would walk out. You know what I mean? Like for real. And then it's just like, well, like that's like not good. You know? And that's like kind of like just annoying. And then it's like, why would you want to be a part of that? No one's like better than anyone else. And like
that time was weird. That scene was weird. There was like there was a dark fucking cloud. But I think like we're all the same age.
Yeah, I'm 25.
24.
Yeah. So like that was like when we were all first in the city. Right. And like it was. Oof. And we were all just trying so fucking hard, like all of us, to just like fit in and to be a part of something.
Oh, bad.
And like maneuvering in the city for the first time.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were doing.
Hell no.
Smiling Buddha's, that's gonna be our place.
Right? What was I thinking?
Yeah, they know we buy my place.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy that you guys knew each other again for like a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you guys go to? You went to? Were you in my res?
I was never in res.
Okay. I remember just seeing you smoking outside of Pittman. Maybe that was. I don't know.
I think that might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was someone else. Holy shit.
I have to explain that one.
Talk about that.
But yeah, I did go to formerly Ryerson TMU.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. That was. I mean, those. How did you find it?
Ryerson.
Yeah. Did you finish?
I'm still in learning.
Oh,
I still have one class to do.
Let's go.
I have one fucking class, and it's annoying because I took all the right amount of classes, but I took one of like the wrong electives. It's some bullshit. So I still don't have my degree technically, even though it's on my resume that I do. I thought it was good. I don't know. I wasn't at the point in my life where I was ready to take advantage of it, and I think that was a big problem.
I don't think anyone is.
I know, but I mean, there's some people that I went to school with that really milked that shit for what it was worth, and came out of it and like grew from that, and it worked for them. You know, I was just like, we were partying, and we weren't really thinking about what it was offering us, or me personally.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. What about you? Did you like TMU, Matt?
Like, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely good parts of it. Like my first year was in business.
Right.
Hated that.
Yeah, fuck that.
And then I went to creative industries, which was like, it was okay. Like,
I mean, when you say those both out loud, that kind of like makes sense with MONEYPHONE.
Yeah.
You would think it would. Like, but
business and creative, it's just like, this is like creating something like a brand almost.
Yeah. I think like what was funny about that program or whatever was like there was like such a crazy cutoff to get in from high school.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have made it, but I already had a year like in school. But it was like not to be like book smarts versus like street smarts or whatever, but it was like it was that thing.
School of Hard Knocks.
Like true, like actually it was like it wasn't technically an arts program, so you didn't need like a portfolio, but we were in the arts department, and all we were doing was like talking about art, right, and how it relates to business,
right.
But like it's a program that's meant to like create managers and agents and stuff like that.
It's an evil program.
Literally, yeah. And then like it would be like people like so much of it is like you talk about where like the state of I don't know, pop culture or like something like that. And then someone's like, yeah, you know, just like pop music nowadays is just so bad. You know? And
back in the 70s.
Yeah, and then you're like, all right, like why? It's like it's just all the same, man.
Yeah.
Which is so not true.
Like not at all.
That's like the most like base level like opinion. Like if anytime anyone says that, I'm just like
literally, yeah.
We don't need to talk anymore.
It's like sitting and like I don't know. School was good because I think in like a sort of I don't know like nothing to do with like the program itself, but like critical thinking skills and just having like a structure and getting out of the house.
Yeah, that's big.
You know,
that was the biggest shock factor to me when I left university. Was like I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do with myself. Yeah, like I don't have anything pulling me in any direction. I'm just like free floating, and I'm just like I'm still working on it. I'm like I still am like trying to find some semblance of what I had in university, which is just like a schedule.
Yeah. No, it was hard. It's hard, especially when you're in any sort of like creative field, because it's like, you know, you can kind of just do whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
And like our whole lives are like structured from like the beginning, and then all of a sudden you're free from school.
Yeah.
And it's like the first time in your life that you haven't had structure, unless you've gotten like a 9-to-5 job, which most of us haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've like literally had like no structure for so long that it's like I'm like fucked. I signed my first deal when I was 19.
Yeah,
so I didn't go to university because I literally got this advance, and I was like, I'm rich.
My life
like went on tour, just did whatever. Long story short,
Yeah.
I just like kind of just like have lived this life of like figuring shit out as I go, but with no. Anytime I like do or accomplish anything, I'm like, don't know how I did that, but like, let's keep moving, you know. But yeah, I feel like now I'm sort of in a place where I'm trying to like put actual structure into my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like I started doing this like I guess like 5 years ago, but like there's only so many, like having that open freedom is just like, even with making music and stuff, like not to ever be like I'm going to record from this to that, but being like, I need to record today.
Yeah.
When it's right, it'll happen. But like, that's something I need to check off. I need to like actually be creating something today.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that for yourselves?
I think like I was actually going to say that's kind of like the nice part of working with a team of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like even from the base level of the music, it's like me and David will like create this expectation that it's like, okay, not at some point, but probably like around noon, we're going to sit down and we're going to like try to make music.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if you're not feeling it that day, like,
you're still going to go in. Yeah.
Exactly. You still got to show up. And then as we move to like the post music part, like something that was great was like Emily, who like fabricates like a lot of any physical stuff that we do and also helps with like producing in the planning sense, was like, let's do weekly meetings. Like every Monday at 6 p.m., let's have a meeting and see like what we're going to accomplish. And it went so long of a way this summer.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's so important. Yeah. Honestly, the weekly meeting thing is actually like, it's the true secret.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
It's the sauce.
Because like
it just keeps the momentum. Like you never get a chance to like fall out in any way.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty with that's the beauty of collaboration.
Yeah, exactly. Having people to keep you in check.
Yes,
for sure.
When you're
keeping
doing
each
things
other
by
in check.
yourself, it can then turn into like the only person that can check you is yourself.
Yeah.
Like, people don't do that. So
Yeah,
it's
Check myself ever.
Yeah. I think you get like kind of, especially like the post music thing, like when you're not actively working on like making the music, things take so long that it's easy to sort of like be like, okay, well, where is this all going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it comes time to like, how do you put this out? And I think with us, you know, you're working on visual stuff and whatever. And that also takes a while.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, like, you know, the record's been done for like mostly recorded for like 6 or 7 months or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, where? If we didn't have that thing, I'd be like, where the fuck are we at? Like,
How
what
do we
are
even
we
get to the next
doing?
level
Yeah.
or the next stage?
Yeah.
Like, are you guys gonna do anything physical for this record? Well, because you did the CDs for Faith, which were handmade, right?
Yeah.
We hand burn them.
Yeah.
That's so. I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's like,
I like love that idea.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Like,
do you like physical? Like, is that something
Definitely.
that you like would want to do?
Yeah, I think like physical, like the physical stuff for us has always been like the marketing shit.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like like the billboard thing.
Yeah.
It was like, what's like the stupidest way you can spend like $900?
That's how cheap it was.
COVID time. Yeah, they were giving out crazy discounts.
Holy shit.
Which was so. I mean, that was a funny.
wanted to ask you,
I'll give
you
away
just
the
said
secret
it.
a little bit. But like, it was so funny. Like, I think Nick brought it up, but like, and it was funny because it was one of those things where like there would be people like asking us like, "Yo, how'd you get the billboard?"
Yeah.
Like, man, you just buy it. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like you see that phone number.
And then it was something like, it was like 75% off or something.
Wow.
Because no one was buying shit.
Yeah.
So we paid for a month, and then no one bought that space for
So it
another
just stayed
3
there.
months on top
Yeah.
of it. So they don't go up there and pay someone to take it down.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so sick.
So we got because right
What
before.
billboard was that? Was that the one at
It's like just
It's
down
like
the street.
Crawford?
Yeah, college in Dovercourt,
Oh,
Yeah,
I think.
sick,
Yeah.
It's like literally down the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah. The guy, like, he was very nice, but before the month was ending up, he's like, "Do you want to like rebook it?"
Yeah.
And we were like, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
And then 3 free months.
Wow.
Went
What's
crazy.
what came after?
What came after?
Like, what was the next
what
big? Like, what did it get
I
covered with?
forget.
I feel like it was orange juice or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Tropicana.
Fuck, it would have been so funny to like, or maybe you did get like footage of just like that. Get it because they don't take it down, do they? Don't they just like paste a new?
Yeah,
one
they
on
put
top?
it over.
Yeah.
I think we did.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, like all the physical stuff, like billboard stuff, like any like physical advertising is super cool.
Yeah. Those are things too that I think most people think of as things that are going to be given to them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
instead of things that they can just take.
Oh yeah.
Or
Yeah.
get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
people are like, oh, once I get to a certain point in my career, then someone will give me a billboard.
For sure,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
And then you guys were just like, well, let's just get a fucking
No,
billboard.
there's so many things that I feel like so many people are stuck in their ways of assuming that you have to get someone else to do it for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like even little things like for this other project I'm working on right now, we just like printed one T-shirt to do this little shoot with it.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of thing that like in your mind you're like no, you can go in and like print one T-shirt.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not like,
Definitely.
you know what I mean. There's this different
Definitely.
like making a thing.
Yeah.
Is not this like giant wholesale like you have to like press X. It's like no, you can do one or even a
sure.
small run.
Yeah.
Like anything like that. Even like pressing your own vinyl or stuff. It's like it can be done.
Yeah.
Well, not vinyl, but unless you want to wait a year.
Yeah.
But no, but it's cool because like you guys have always. So for example, with vinyl, you know, I buy vinyl. Do I have a record player? But the reason I buy it is because I like that Memory Lane CFCF record behind you. Like I wanted to own that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to have it, and
Yeah.
I think that that's sort of where we're going with like. Even just like the music side, because like like you can make the hats, you can make all this other stuff, and I think it's now just all the same.
Yeah.
It's like people are just gonna buy things because they want to buy the piece of artwork.
The
you know?
physical
Sure.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it boggles my mind when people have bad artwork. It's like
That's
you're
just been on your mind.
They're trying to sell this, and the person that buys it is probably not going to listen to it.
Yeah.
They want to just have it because it's like a cool thing to own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry to keep no one
Shitting on
personal
that
we're
art.
talking about it, just to be clear.
But think about yourselves. Take a good hard look at your
To
artwork.
the young artists, really consider it because it can make or break your career. You guys opened for Glass Animals. That was like, I guess
Yeah.
I'm assuming your first show in a long time. No, you played at the Velvet Underground too, right?
Yeah, we did Velvet Underground December.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
still a bit of
It's
time.
been some
This is
time.
like your first like really big venue, right? It was
Yeah.
I was
that
gonna
shit was
say that was
crazy.
like
where
was
was
like
it
the
again?
Coca-Cola stage or
Coca-Cola?
something.
Coca-Cola.
What even is that?
It's like near the X.
Yeah.
It used to
Oh,
be something
yeah.
else.
Rico.
Yes,
Rico,
the
yeah.
Rico Coliseum.
Yeah.
Right. Crazy. Was it just were you direct support?
It was us and
Genesis. I don't know how to say the second half of their name.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll Google it when I put it in the description. I'm just kidding. Yeah, how was that though? That must have been nuts. I'm assuming that was your biggest show.
Yeah. It was crazy. I mean, like, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was kind of like surreal, like being somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Even like before the show.
Yeah.
Like you walk in, there's like a backstage thing. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on?
No, it's like that feeling of like before you play something that big and you just hear the like chatter of the room. It's like,
Yeah.
and you're just like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the good thing about it is like we were early.
Yeah,
So like there wasn't a ton of people there, but like not a ton of people in a place like that was like 300 or 400.
which
is
there's still a lot of people.
still a lot, but it didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Which like I think made performing like way easier.
Right.
Because like you're imagining like the full like I don't know 5,000 people or something, and you're like,
But I always find that performing to more people is actually easier than performing to less people.
yeah.
You know?
I kind of get that. Just in like once we started, like everything kind of like flashed out of the mind because you can like look at the mass of people and it's like a mass of people, and also look to the stands and you're like, I can't actually see that much. Like,
Like, versus like being in like a smaller venue and be like, oh, there's like Steve over there.
Smiling Buddha basement.
R.I.P. Smiling Buddha.
Is it done?
Yeah, the guy got like canceled.
Yo, let us.
Oh, I
stay
remember
there,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's still there.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
It's like,
Is
but
it
it's,
operating? No.
no.
Damn.
No. But also, like, fuck that place.
Yeah.
I DJ'd in the basement there once, and I was like, I'm never coming back. I was like, no, thank you.
the funniest part about that show was having to decide on a rider. Because we were like mad
my
polite,
God.
and they just gave us a bunch of Stella.
I don't know why. I was like, I think we were like, I was like stressed out that day, and then we like literally had to do the rider thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care, And then like as soon as he did that, and we like put it in, I was like, wait, we
could have asked for way more.
Could have asked for anything.
My
Next
favorite
time.
thing to put on a rider, little pro tip, always ask for socks.
Well, I don't know what the fuck.
Oh.
we're doing.
Wow.
If you're
It's a
ever on tour,
rider?
just get them to buy you just socks. Because like if you're ever like touring and shit, like doing laundry can get a little annoying sometimes and hard.
Yeah.
Socks though, man.
I don't know if I'm just stupid, but what's a rider?
Oh.
I'm not.
That's like like before.
Do you really not know what a rider is?
Should I?
Yes.
It's like for like I don't like mid to bigger level shows, like not even small shows too.
Small will still give you like a little
Depends on the-
hospitality rider.
Oh shit.
Not Smiling Buddha. But like it's like they'll be like, what do you want?
Yeah,
you know,
you never
like,
heard of like the Mariah Carey green M&Ms shit? Like,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah, I
stuff?
guess I have.
yeah.
Where it's just like, or like, I don't know, someone being like, you have to paint all my green rooms like
Right,
blue or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's just like you're basically just saying like, you're just giving a list of your demands and things
Right.
you want. And like they range from being like much smaller, obviously, to being like, paint the walls this color.
Yeah. So you guys should have gone to paint the walls. Or something.
Yeah, we kind of fucked up.
Next,
Like, yeah, you're
next
not playing.
time.
demand Pepsi at the Coca-Cola station. Like, we need this. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about like influence, which is like something that like we never talk about on this podcast because we actually joke about being like, we don't talk to artists about their influences.
No.
But I'm actually fascinated by what your guys' influences are, and I equate that to like. Well, first of all, how would you describe your music? I was trying to describe it to somebody, and I was like, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
I always, whenever someone asks that question, normally someone's beside me and I'm like, what would you say? But I do think it is like kind of pop music to its core. And I did quotations, but like it is pop in the sense that pop to me, and I think me and David also share this understanding, is like a form of communication.
Right. Yeah.
And like all the like Frank Ocean is one of the greatest pop artists of all time. Why? Because he communicates like very effectively, like Kanye West, same exact thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we do, because I also think of how much the package is important and how important the package is to pop music. So like to be a pop artist is to work in this like multi-level form, and that's what feels right to what we do.
Yeah. And then what would be your influences though? So what would, like, if you were to like top 5 dead or alive? No. Like what's like what? I mean, obviously I know Kanye, and we'll get to that later. But like what were you? Like, what got you guys started musically? Like, what was like anything from like the beginning, and then also just like maybe like more recent stuff. But like what like started it? Like, what was the moment when you were like, okay, like I need to like make music?
We were in a band in high school.
Okay.
And that was like I guess, like post rock, but like really bad.
Post rock band.
I guess I mean, I don't even fully know what that means, to be honest. That shit was bad.
I associate post rock with like super dissonant, like really slow, like I actually don't even know.
It wasn't that. Never mind. But it was like, I guess it was like a rock band.
Yeah.
Not post, but like
just a rock and roll band.
It was like me and our friend Javier and Enoch. And all of us were too scared to sing. Really? So we just like, it was like bass, drums, and guitar.
Oh, so, wait, no, that's post rock.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I said it. Yeah.
That sounds like post rock.
And then so I think, I don't know, that was in high school, and then.
But what were you listening to even get there?
I feel like me and David have a shared like. We both love the Beatles really, really bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I remember, like, the first song I ever cried to was Hey Jude. Like, that shit, like, cut through me.
Yeah.
And I think it, like, went from the Beatles to, like, getting into, like, hip-hop. And then, like, I started listening to, embarrassingly, but whatever, Tyler, like, right at 15. I think the Beatles is when I got fascinated about music, personally. And then Tyler is when I realized I could do it. Because, I didn't grow up in a musical household, and up until the moment that like I heard about Yonkers, like I didn't know I could make beats.
The Beatles to Tyler the Creator pipeline.
Honestly, that makes sense.
Yeah,
totally.
Because it's still this like musical songwriting kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know, like I remember the first time I saw that Yonkers video, and I was like, "This is it."
And Tyler was one of the first, I think. I'm not musical knowledge, but like. To really like adjust to the streaming system of music, where he was like, "This, we're gonna make money in totally different ways than we ever have before," which was merch, which was branding, which was like all this other shit.
No, it was like the whole Tumblr thing. The sort of Tumblr movement of that time was very much like someone tapping into, like you guys do, like the aesthetic with the music. Like I used to go to that fucking like Tumblr and just like be like, I need to see these pictures of them saying And then like occasionally a video would pop up and you'd be like, I gotta watch this video.
That was
like,
another one of those things where it was like the family around. You know, like that was the most important thing. The music was important too, but like the family was the most important.
Yeah, I think like, I mean, also like recently, and I guess without knowing, but like in the past and stuff, we'd both been like really fascinated and like attracted to artists who like had that story, you know, and like that like those people where like, you know, you're invested in the music and the music is good, but the music can be good and you're like, oh, it's just a cool artist. You know what I mean? But like, especially in those like high school years, when you like find that thing you can like obsess over, and you watch every video and you look at every photo and you read every interview and like all that stuff.
And that's when it becomes beyond the music and the like package. Or just the story of the It goes to my like obsession with Kanye. It's like, that's a guy that whether I would ever want to meet him or not, debatable, but like, you know what I mean though? It's like you can't help but be fascinated. And I have the same with Frank Ocean as well. It's like, I'm just so like, I just want to know more, you know?
Yeah. And it's crazy with people like that, where it's like any story you hear about them is like the coolest fucking thing. You know?
I know.
Like you hear this, like you hear a story about like someone being in the studio with Frank, or like someone like being on a call with Ye, or like going to a show, or like all this stuff, and you're just like, oh my god! Like,
you literally see a photo of Frank Ocean riding his riding a city bike in New York, and I'm like, how does he do it?
How does he do it?
But again, it's like still fascinating.
Yeah.
Because they also have a level of, they also close off a certain aspect of their life, which I think is interesting, you know? And it kind of creates this intrigue, you know? It's like you give away just enough, but you leave a little bit behind so that you're always kind of like wanting more.
For sure.
And I feel like those are sort of the artists that I not necessarily admire the most, but I find myself like constantly like getting sucked into their worlds. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sort of like world building aspect of like, especially like a Frank Ocean. Like, you know, we could all sit here and be like, what do we think his next album's going to sound like? None of us know.
Yeah.
Like, we literally have no idea.
Yeah.
There's rumors that it's a dance album, but like, it might not be. It could be like fucking folk music. Like, who knows? Seriously, like, I just really don't know.
Yeah.
It could be like, you know, him and Alex G just like strumming a guitar for 2 hours, and I'd be like, beautiful.
Next step in the Money Phone lore canon is we're going to spread really good rumors about you guys.
Let's go.
just to build the hype. But it's like, we'd be like, just like beep out this part and be like, whoa.
Man, when they came into the living room, I swear to God, this light.
But I mean, I do think that like that whole intrigue and mystique, and also just like the way that those people live their lives became like an inspiration in, especially like I think the funniest thing, like as soon as we touch like any money, we just want to spend it on ideas and do something that goes somewhere and like live vibrantly, because in that sense that it is about the music, but it's also about you as a person and the things that you've seen and continue to see and how you grow.
And how the art you make changes based on your own evolution.
Yeah. It's kind of like that's, to me, like that's what makes good music. You know, like you can learn how to use the DAW and like play an instrument and all that stuff, but it's like, if you're not going outside, like, what are you talking about?
You
know? Like, what is there to do? Like,
it's extremely important, and it creates just different art.
Yeah,
like, it just continues to create like new ideas. Like my like cousin, like Eve Jarvis, his whole thing is he was like at one point recording all of his albums outside. I was like, damn, like yes, you know what I mean? But again, for like using that as an example, but for that specific album, which was called I can't remember, it's the yellow one. You know, you can hear it's even like when we would pod outside. Like some of the fun parts about that is like it creates these secondary movements, and like he only did that for one record. But like when you listen to that one, it like really feels like a stamp in time, which I think is so important with like everything. Is you want it to be like, this is me, right now. And then what happens next is going to be different, whether it's in a fucking studio in LA or in the woods in a cabin or like whatever. It's like that's what's inspiring. That's what's like, that's what's like I like look forward to.
For sure. Yeah.
It's creating a vibe that you like you wish you were there for, in a way.
Yeah.
And then you become there for it through the music or through listening to it or watching it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Going back to billboards for a second. We gotta talk about this truck.
The truck. Yeah.
How did that come about?
That was just like
again, incredible idea.
It was like, again, we got lucky. With like booking that thing.
Okay.
It was like $750 to book it up for a day.
Let me just give it a price.
but I like that's kind of how we went off. You know what I mean?
Because like we did the numbers.
We were trying to think of something. And we were like, and that it's so funny because sometimes like, you know, you have these ideas, and I think sometimes like we get in this thing of like thinking too big. You know what I mean? And just like going like too far with an idea where then it's like it could only be that way. But that way is like completely unattainable right now. You know, so then
I want to just get like a plane that just says like
literally, brother, we've been there.
That shit is so expensive.
Sure it is. You have to rent a plane.
I want to see the budget spreadsheet where the plane is
But
in the red line, like immediately.
It was one of those things where it was like, so it's funny because like sometimes the first thing you look at is like how much would it actually cost to do this, you know? And originally we were gonna do the billboard thing again, and just have like world peace inside me, whatever. But then we were like, we kind of did the billboard thing, you know, and we really like having shit like on a screen, so we were looking into like how to do that, and then I don't know, it just like popped in my head and then like we just like did a Google search. And I called this guy, and he was like super chill. And he was just like, "Yeah, like, what do you want to do?" And I explained it to him. And then even then, I was trying to get him to like come down from the 750. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you can get like 2 or 3 shoots out of that. So like, that's not bad. Like, 750 for 3 shoots." And I was like, "You sold me. You're right. You're right, man. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's so nice."
So then, was there did you just get to drive it around, or did somebody? Is it like
it came with a driver?
Sick.
Yeah, which was sick.
Totally worth it.
And he was sick. Yeah, he was so cool. He like the way it works is like you just set a meeting spot. And you kind of maybe before like describe kind of what you're doing. And then. So we met up, and he was like, "Where do you want to go?" And he was like, "I'll block traffic. Like, I don't care. Like,
we should get a cold pod truck."
He was so down for everything. And then he was also just like, he's like, "Yeah, this looks cool. Like, let me take a picture and like send it to my boss." Okay. Like, yeah.
We should definitely just like steal that idea, but just like do a horrible job. Imagine a truck with just that like deep fried photo of you just like on all sides. It doesn't say cold pot anywhere. It's just like it's a fried photo of us. It's like a young adult. Like, what is this? We'll talk to you.
No, the funniest thing about that thing was like, because I mean, obviously, and it ended up being promo, you know. But we were like, we forgot to put the name on it. We forgot to put our name on it.
I thought that was the sickest part.
Yeah, well, I think we were talking
from a branding perspective, I guess not.
Yeah, no, like it was funny because when we were talking about it, we were like, we can't put the Money Phone name on it. Like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then we sort of like, we drafted the thing up. And then I think later we were like, we probably should have done that.
Yeah, because like, people would like come up to us and be like, "What's this for?"
They're just like,
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. But I mean,
just for world peace. Just for world peace.
We just want world peace.
I think that's the thing with like a lot of the sort of like what ends up being like marketing and promotion stuff. That, you know, like that was birthed out of just wanting to like do something with a screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think with this stuff, and it sort of functioned as like a video art installation. You know, like, okay, like film these things, like make these ads, whatever. And that's like kind of been like the ethos, like for us, like, you know, obviously it ends up being marketing, right?
No, but marketing is a good thing.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a bad thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, people just have a negative connotation with the idea of like marketing.
You guys aren't selling like sugar-filled syrup, you know? You guys are selling a band and music, you know? Like
at the end, I feel like promotion, I guess, is like a better term, but it is marketing. But people, you know, you say promotion, people go like, "Oh yeah, promo, great." Like, marketing, they're like, "Ugh."
I guess like when it starts to become like marketing, like when you're in that thing of like
looking at like demographics,
literally like looking at insights or like how do we market this, right? And then I think it's like trying to stick to and like remember that thing of like, okay, like how can I get this across and like still be an artist? You know what I mean? And like trying to maintain the artistry through like the visual stuff and like whatever.
But it's always hard because you just never know what's gonna like, not to relate it to the pod, but like, you know, I even remember when we So like one of the viral marketing things that we did, and I remember referring to it as pulling a money phone when it worked. But it was when I had made, you guys probably saw it, but I made like a fake cease and desist on like a real legal website that was like cold pod needs to be taken down.
my
and blah, blah, blah,
God.
blah.
I literally thought that shit was real.
Everybody does.
My parents is crazy.
I know, that was so funny. That was so funny. That's what made me start listening. I'm not gonna lie. That you pulled a money phone on me. It's crazy.
It worked on the master. Shit. Even when he sent it to me, I was like, "Wait, is this real?" I was like, "Fuck, what did I say?"
Yeah, no, it was out of control. Like I've never gotten more text messages in a single day of my life.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, like what the fuck? Like my parents called. They're just like, are you being sued? I was like, no. But like that's fun to me. Like I like finding new ways to promote something. Like I guess I hate to use the term viral marketing, but it's like, you know, it's like fun. It's like part of the creative process in a sense of finding different ways to expose people to something.
Yeah.
And then like some things work and some don't. And the ones that stick sometimes aren't the ones you want to stick. But like for some reason, like
we're a restaurant meme page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like the amount of restaurant people that are following us right now. It's
got the GM of Aloe.
Yeah.
That guy fired Austin.
No, he didn't even let me work there. I was like on my first shift, and he saw I was wearing Vans, and he was like, "Nah, you gotta go."
Holy shit!
What? So he follows cold. How fucked up is that? But yeah, it's funny when things like don't work. When they work, because you never know what's gonna stick. You know?
Oh yeah.
And how people are gonna react to things. And I feel like the billboard and like that's just a tried and test. Like that's just gonna work.
For sure.
But I think that the truck, even though it didn't have your name on it, I think, like I was saying, I arguably thought that was like really cool that it wasn't there, whether it was intentional or not. But I thought it created more of like a moment, like a real moment.
Yeah.
It actually took away the marketing.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It made it actually more of like an installation piece.
Yeah.
Like in the end.
Yeah. Which like it was just it was
and
fun.
it's documented. You have
Yeah, it was
that.
fun. Like it was one of those things. Like I was like, there's no like in what other world would I do something like this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just following it around all day.
Yeah.
Back of a scooter.
That's the sick thing about
out
just
with
like
the camera.
filmmaking too in general is just you get into places and situations where you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? You know? Like,
Well, yeah,
like,
I mean-
why am I like this would never happen in a million years to
For
like
sure.
a person not in this world. You know?
Yeah.
Even making videos,
Yeah.
like for us, like it's one of those things where like directing and stuff, like no one's gonna take me on to do a music video except for Jonah. Let's go.
Sure, shut up. We heard about the music videos. So
Yeah. But it's like, you know, making music is like an avenue to make videos, you know, and to design and to make merchandise, which if you're trying to get work outside of it, which, you know, we probably all are, to make some money, it's just creating that avenue to like, you know, maybe get more work, but also like have fun and just do
like
stuff.
gaining skills. You're gaining
Yeah,
skills beyond
yeah.
what you're like, you know, presenting as like musicians. Sorry, I mean musicians. I mean like as just musicians, as opposed to being like, you know, like also say like learning another skill
For sure.
beyond the thing that you like only really like supposedly only really care about.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
the
yeah.
main thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool to like, like the things you gain like from making music or being an artist beyond the actual main part of it, you know, is like important. Like you learn how to like, you know, pitch emails to people. You know, it's like dumb shit like that, but it's like totally useful. It's like
Do you guys also find because I know you guys have both directed and done that. Do you guys find the process similar to writing music at all, or is it because I find it very, very similar, especially lately as I've started to make music. It's like, oh wow, there's so many, and learning things from one medium to take into the other happens all the time now.
I find that with designing more than I do like directing, because David's kind of like the director of the two of us. But it is incredible. Or even like I'll like color some of our videos and watch the way that like the coloring, like the grid looks exactly like an EQ,
Right.
and like how easy it is to like transfer that over. But
Yeah, I think like there's similarities probably in like ways that maybe I don't see. I guess in terms of like sensibilities and like tastes and stuff like that, where I guess, I don't know, watching movies and listening to music kind of ends up being the same sort of thing. I think with directing as of late, like for the stuff that we've been doing for this project, for like music videos and stuff, it's been like casting a much wider net, you know, in terms of like what it is we're looking for,
Right.
Which is like different than I think, well, different and the same from like making music, you know what I mean? But I think like it's like you make the story afterwards, with like with making videos.
Yeah, I feel like it's similar to just the sort of, you know, throwing ideas at the wall until something sticks. Like, like talking about how many songs you guys have made that didn't make the album. I mean, there's tons, and I'm same with videos, and I'm sure you shoot certain things, and you're just like, don't know why I shot that, but like, you know, there's like that sort of the. It's all. I mean, it's all the same.
It's all the same, you know.
It's all just the same mentality.
The one thing I've been thinking about a lot is like the process of layering in writing and in writing music, like in writing films and writing music, which that was like a big connection for me, where I was just like, because when I'm writing music, obviously I come up with like a little thing and then add the next thing and add the next thing and so on and so forth. And I've never really thought about that with writing, but it's like that's the same thing. You kind of have like the through line plot to whatever scene it is, and then you slowly start adding dimensions into that scene. Yeah, you know that like that. And I this was like a recent thing for me where I was like, whoa, it's the same fucking thing. You know?
Yeah. I think that's been the thing with us for like ideas, like in the like idea making process for like videos.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because like there is like naturally there's going to be like through lines and stuff like that. But things aren't necessarily like connected literally or whatever. More like in theme or like it's kind of like abstracted and whatever. So there's like a layering thing, I guess, but also more just like the ideas are all born out of like this understanding that you have of something. Right. And then like no matter how outlandish the idea might feel, it's like still you. You know what I mean? So like because of that, it's like you could do anything, and like in your head it like makes sense. You know what I mean? And just approaching it like that way.
So what would be, this is sort of like the last big question I had, with the sort of world that you guys have built with the music and the visuals and the merchandise and stuff like that, like what would be the final frontier? Like if you had unlimited budget,
plane,
and it was just like
spaceship.
Let's set the scene. Let's set the scene. The next album, the next one, not this one. The next one. This one blew up. You got handed unlimited budget for the next album to do all of it. Like what would be, like how far would you go, and like what would be the like dream to like present the second MONEYPHONE album?
Recording almost everywhere that we could. Like that would be the first step of it, because like I think this is a small thing, but my family has a farm back in Zimbabwe, and something that's a dream of mine is like just recording a whole album there. And it would require unlimited budget. Something like that. And then like I'm so excited with like the team that we do have to get to that point where we do have like unlimited budget, where I don't know, I can look at Emily and be like, you have $300,000 to build a stage. It's gonna take us like across the whole country. You know?
There's stuff like that. I mean, like there's like things like the sort of like practical stuff. Like I would love to be in a studio and like work with live musicians, you know, and like bring in people who like really know what they're doing and like direct them musically, you know. And then in terms of like, you know, any sort of like video stuff, you're always like, I wish I had a budget. You know? And
would you ever make like a movie, like the MONEYPHONE movie?
You know what's funny about like the video stuff, at least for me right now, is like a lot of the focus has been like on like real life, so like documenting people or like inserting yourself in a situation, and there are like scripted scenes and whatever, and that's what I'm interested in, and that's what I like right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like I'm not ready to write something.
Right.
You know, like I'm not ready to write a movie. I feel like I need like another 10 years before I would even want to touch that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, I don't know, I'm scared of it.
Terrifying process.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's got to be good.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a deep admiration for people like you who like jump into that shit.
Yeah.
You know, like young and try it. Because I think it's scary.
I think like if you ever did it, you would realize. I mean, it does fucking suck sometimes, but I think you'd realize that it's like pretty similar to writing an album. You know,
True.
Or like that seems as daunting to me as writing a screenplay, right? Like,
Right.
And it's kind of what we talked about with Jonah too. That like, it's once you're ready for it, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like there's always a certain point where you say to yourself like, oh, I'm not a real musician, or I'm not an artist, or I'm not this or that. And then like at a certain point, you know, you're just like, no, like I'm a musician. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and I feel like that would happen with movies as well. Right? Like anything, it's just like once you're ready for it, then it's like it's real. Once it's real to you, then it's real.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. You guys ever just like fucking can't do anything?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That shit fucking sucks. And it's even better.
Tupac on my nails did. Machiavelli with a MacBook. Stanley Kubrick in some big pants. Spent the weekend at our old house. Kick drum feel like freedom. Is there niggas out in Sweden? Cause they be taking what we bleeding. I don't know how I'm feeling. Nah, psycho act with that substance. Sundown like an old friend. Black skin on some pink sun. I take a kiss from my best friend. Big swing in the sunlight. Big shadow on a sundial. I don't know when I'll act right. I don't know when I'll act right.
Yeah.
Sick.
You guys ever just like fucking can't do anything?
Hell yeah.
That shit fucking sucks. And it's even better because it's two of us. And it's just like, you're staring at each other like, you don't got any ideas?
What do you got today?
No, like it's definitely.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like try to stay inspired with shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's easy to get in your head, you know, about like stuff, and I think, you know, that's also just something that like it's like shit you gotta work on in life. You know what I mean? To like be able to like be okay with things not coming to you. You know? And
Do you use any substances when you make music?
No.
See, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I don't. Like, I've always been like very not against it. I don't care like what you do, how you make your music, but like for me personally, I do almost everything completely.
Yeah,
sober,
I remember being a
you
kid
know?
and like being like, oh, I'm gonna like drink while I write.
Yeah.
And that shit does not work.
I don't know, but,
hell
but,
no.
but I
no
will
works.
actually say the funny thing is like, there's like two things that I've like written that are like some of the more popular things that I've put out, and like there were the like rare times when I was like had like a couple of drinks and I was like, woohoo, like really going in. And I was like,
well, it can definitely
work,
release inhibitions.
Yeah. But I would never but I would never rely on that because it's like a crutch when it's like, oh, I gotta get fucked up in the studio. It's like,
it's kind of like it's also concerning.
It's real addict behavior.
But like I don't know. I think it's one of those things. Like obviously, I don't know. We'll like if we're like chilling at home and like like get some wine, some beers or something when you're doing it. And I think there's nothing more humbling than waking up the next day and like opening up that file and like, what the fuck were we doing?
Yeah.
Like you know,
we've all been there.
And I mean, like I think truthfully, what I enjoy so much about like mostly just being sober when making music is like when you hit that flow state, it almost feels like religious ecstasy.
Exactly.
You black the fuck out. And it's like that's better than anything that like I can describe.
Yeah, that's it. I guess it's, as soon as you get in flow state, you don't need drugs or anything because that's like a better feeling than all of those things.
That rush is just like crazy. Like I was saying earlier, it's like that moment when you make something and like for example, you listen to it the next day and you're actually like, how the fuck did I come up with that? You know what I mean? You can't go back to even figure out what made you choose whatever these chords or this sound.
Yeah, like just when you're strumming a guitar and you just like pick a certain chord progression and it's just like, what?
No, I literally look back at everything I've written and I'm just like, don't know how I did this. I don't know.
Definitely.
That's the best.
It's because you're like in that zone where you're just actually just kind of like, you know, moving freely.
That's the same thing with like I think like doing psychedelics to get to a certain like headspace and like reach a certain state of like bliss or whatever and then versus just like meditating to that place. Like you can totally get to that place without any of these things. These things are kind of just like cheat codes to that place, you know.
Cheat codes are good.
I mean, I don't. That's true. I'm curious. Like, do you watch movies when you write? Like, movies?
I do. I for a long time I was like, no, I can't do it. But what I realized is that like I have to be. I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately because I've been kind of more around music and more around like musicians, and I've been less like integrated into the world of film. I haven't been nearly as inspired to write films or to make films, and so but I still obviously that's what I want to do. That's the main thing. So I was like, I have to refocus my world around filmmaking again, and to do that, I have to watch films. Like so, I in order to like continue, in order to just have my mind like geared towards that mindset and that way of thinking, I just have to be immersed in it at all times. So when I'm watching movies and I'm not. When I'm writing movies and I'm not watching films, it's bad for me. You know, I have to start watching films again to just like to just be immersed in that world.
It's like the beats of like the beats of creativity. Or that sounds so corny, but like you know what I mean. It's like you get into the like the rhythm of like, you know, because at the end of the day, with movies, with non-experimental movies and with like pop music in the sense of like song structure and whatnot, you know, you it's important to sort of maintain an understanding of you know the references and whatnot, and being like you know, by watching movies or by listening to music, it's like, you know, you get that further and further ingrained into like you get
the language of it. The language of it. I think that's the main thing, is the language of it.
What was like the last movie you watched that like really inspired you?
That I just watched Wise Blood again by John Huston. That's a big one for me. But I just rewatched that the other day. I did like a whole Cronenberg deep dive because Crimes of the Future came out. Crash, man, fucking.
I almost watched Crash like 2 weeks ago, and then I like didn't. I watched it a month ago when I had COVID.
Yeah, I'm in my
Crash.
I'm in my post PTA phase now.
Let's go.
Austin's gonna bring up licorice pizza for the 100th time.
I won't bring it up. But I'm in my post PTA phase, so that's
post PTA. Like, you're not a fan anymore?
I mean, obviously these films are still gonna be like the shit for me forever.
Yeah,
but like,
definitely.
I don't know. It stopped. The magic faded.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Licorice Pizza, and I feel like I'm probably not going to.
I like it.
I mean, like,
it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
No,
it's one of those things where it's like, you know, when a movie comes out and you're like, I'm gonna watch it, and then you never do, and you're like, it's just not gonna happen, you know. But like, I mean, I like his movies. I thought that the Master is like
Master's
Great.
beautiful.
insane.
Yeah. I feel like you're anti PTA.
No, I feel like I am.
We do have a joke that like white dude, like early 20s, PTA fan. Yeah,
Because it's like Radiohead too. It's
Yeah.
like we've talked about this, but like the Radiohead effect. Like the fans of PTA are worse than PTA himself. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But it's really funny because I was both not a PTA fan like at all and not a Radiohead fan at all. And then I watched The Phantom Thread and it changed my fucking life.
Yeah, that
The
movie's
soundtrack
Johnny
of
Greenwood.
that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
yeah.
And that's when I started fucking with PTA. Like after seeing that movie.
Do you still not fuck with Radiohead?
No, I got over it. Like, but come on, like, I'm not gonna like, and maybe this is like, you know, I'm not listening to the early albums. Like, I'm not gonna listen to Creep for real. Like, you know, like In Rainbows, Kid A, I'm good. I'm straight.
Yeah. That's my golden era.
Like that's true. Like PTA stuff, I feel like I still like some of those movies.
Yeah.
And I think around like I don't know, I'm trying to think. I think it was like first year when I like watched those movies for the first time.
Yeah.
I remember going to see There Will Be Blood for the first time at the Royal when they had that series on them like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
I hated it, like being there.
Right.
Oh, just because of the crowd.
Literally everyone who was there had seen the movie.
Yeah.
So like obviously, like you know, like but whatever. But I'm not like if you're gonna talk in the movies, that's fine. You know what I mean. But don't say the line.
I know.
Like, the line.
You're just
don't
like
do the
flexing on
milkshake shit, bro. Like
Like you have seen this movie.
There's
and
there's
then
films that make sense for that. Like what's the
The Room.
Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Room.
The Room.
Yes.
Like that
Yeah,
shit. Yeah,
all that
but
stuff.
There Will Be Blood. You got to be quiet, man.
it'll be like the scene like where like the kid. I don't know, spoilers, I guess.
Again, 2007.
The like kid goes deaf and like people are like, or that scene where like he's drunk at the table and he's like yelling at the guys and people are like laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, it's like kind of funny, but I'm like, it's not that fucking funny. You know what I mean?
Okay, I actually have to disagree with you. This might be because like when I watch PTA films, I'm laughing out loud.
He's funny.
He's funny. I'm always like baffled at how funny it is.
Yeah.
But there's like an aura around his films that are sometimes like they're serious, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
But they're fucking funny.
Yeah.
They're stupid as hell.
Yeah.
Like that's I think my favorite thing about him is that it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's just kind of stupid and silly. And
Yeah.
but like also serious and also like saying I don't know. Yeah.
And I've always said that's my favorite style of art is things that can do all of those things.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just like a little bit of everything, like not taking itself too seriously, but like
Yeah.
having a sense, just have it being fun with it, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like those, like the crowd around those things is always the worst. Like I try not to go to his films like in theaters where I know that people. Like I go to see his films in theaters, but like always when it's like I know not many people are gonna be there. You know, which luckily no one's ever at his film.
So if you're in your post PTA era, who's the new PTA?
I don't know. No, I mean,
director?
I feel like we're talking about me now. Why is this mine?
No, let's do it.
No, I feel
This
like
is Austin's
PTA. PTA was such a guy for me for so long, and like since like the beginning of my filmmaking like endeavor, that like I was always just like kind of looking to him for like, okay, like what would PTA do? What would PTA do? And then when Licorice Pizza came out, I was just like, I don't trust this guy anymore. You know,
God is dead.
I was like, my God is dead. I was like, no false idols, shit. And then but then it was like it marked like an important chapter in like whatever the fuck this is, which was I was like, oh, like okay, shit, like the person that you thought like had it all and was like, you know, the GOAT was like, you know, you have different ideas than him now. You know what I mean? You can kind of like go off and I feel like a lot of people have this with musicians where you're like, oh, Kanye's the shit. But
No, I'm the opposite. I can't let go. Believe me, that door, that book should have closed a long time ago, but it just hasn't.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, then you can take what you learn from that and then go. But I don't know. Like Cassavetes is still really big for me. Mm-hmm. It's always been really big for me. I don't know.
What about you guys?
David has an agenda.
What was I guess it was last year. We finally watched our first Terrence Malik movie.
Okay.
Tree of Life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've
Worst
actually
one,
never
but-
seen it.
Worst one?
I think so.
Fuck
Bro,
off.
fuck off! Fuck off!
I know this is like so the extension.
His movies are just so good.
Yeah,
just like-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because the extension, and I've become the joke. The extension of like early 20s white dude loving PTA is mid 20s white dude loving Terrence Malick. I've gone to like, oh yeah.
It literally.
But no, I remember we watched Tree of Life, and then
I mean,
I
it's
was
a
like,
beautiful film. I don't mean that it's bad, but
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
I loved it. I loved like, I mean, even that thing of like things feeling like real life.
Yeah.
It was like no one is talking in these scenes. We're just pointing the camera at people.
Wait, whoa, yeah, you guys are kind of doing the Terrence Malick thing a little bit.
Yep.
Should we redact that part?
no. I mean that's like the huge.
No, yeah, but no, it's
influence.
but it's not the Terrence Malick thing. But I can see the influence now that you
Definitely.
said that. Whoa,
Like, because I remember, I mean, it was one. Obviously, you know, inspiration. Can't look for it; it just hits you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
totally.
it was like we finished that movie, and I was like, the next video we make,
Yeah.
it's got to feel
Yeah.
like that a little bit. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
even the shit like using the GoPro.
Yeah.
Straight from watching Tree of Life
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
song to song and like
Fuck, I need to watch
all
that.
that
Damn,
stuff.
I did not connect that.
Yeah, it's such a cool way of doing stuff. Like all the scenes, it's like talking about something big, you know, because
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
super Christian.
Yeah,
But also in like a very small story.
yeah.
And all those, all the scenes like kind of just like they just happen, you know, the way life does.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like,
I forget what movie it was. It was one Terrence Malick movie, but he actually uses this camera.
oh really?
Yeah, that was one of my.
Crazy.
Yeah, he uses this camera in the intro scenes. Fuck, what movie is it? I'll find it and send
Yeah,
it to you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
fuck. I'll get back to you.
No, it's incredible. Like
That was one of the reasons I bought this camera was because of that movie.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know it's like kind of also played out to like love Terrence Malick,
Yeah.
but like who fucking
No, who
cares?
can know? When you get to there's
He's so
certain
good.
people that it's just like
Yeah, it's like
It's,
insane.
I think it's played out at this point to say that it's played out to like anybody.
True.
Yeah,
True.
no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's people
It's
that
time
are
to be
so
earnest.
fucking
Yeah.
good, and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like you can't. And the reason that they're played out is because they're so fucking.
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
It's because they're
it's-
actually just good.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
how they got there.
I think that was like that was definitely the last thing I watched, like those series of movies,
Yeah.
and then like people who were like that A.J. Edwards movie, Age Out.
Oh, I saw that.
It's pretty good. It's like he's like Terrence Malick's like protege.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He like edited Tree of Life and Night of Cups and shit.
Yeah.
But he made a movie, and it's great.
Yeah.
But like just sort of like getting in. I don't know. Yeah, we really were inspired by that stuff.
Yeah.
Like this sort of like super crisp stuff, always using like a wider lens.
Yeah.
Sort of being more comfortable with just like scenes changing and just like filming the people around you.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That movie like really did a number on all of us. It's so fucking funny.
But it's such a beautiful thing when that happens because I think that people like to assume that taking inspiration or reference is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And it's just not at all. I think
No.
it's like not the most important, but one of the most important parts is like acknowledging references and being and just being open and being like, you know what,
Definitely.
like I saw that and that fucking changed, that blew my mind,
Yeah.
and it changed the trajectory of what I make now because
Yeah.
I relate it back to these things, but it's still your own thing.
Yeah.
But it's like that's like the beauty of these things.
Yeah.
I said this once, and I'll say it again, but that's why other art is there.
Exactly.
Why it's there.
It exists. Yeah, to exist.
Instead of an
yeah.
urge to create, and then
Yeah.
now it's still existing,
Yeah,
so that
it's
we can
meant to
all
be passed
inspire
on.
another
Yeah.
urge to
Yeah.
create. You know.
Yeah.
I think the cool part is like as you get older, you understand things on a deeper level. That it's not about
Yeah.
like remaking the Terrence Malick movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's
No.
understanding the way memory functions
Yeah.
in the Terrence
Yes.
Malick movie
Yeah,
and
yeah.
applying it to your own shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
you
sick.
have that understanding, but you don't have the words for it yet.
Right. Yeah.
And you see something that does
Well, it's
that.
beyond the tangible. It's beyond tangible. It's the feeling.
Exactly.
It's this thing beyond what it actually is. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
how it
yeah.
makes you feel or
Yeah,
how it makes
yeah.
you how it influences your life.
And that's why we like write music and write movies and do all this shit, is because it's expressing shit that words cannot. And like that's the whole point of it. If you could say what you want to say with world peace inside me and a fucking note on Instagram, like you could. You can't. So,
but there's no rules. There's just no rules. That's the best part. That's the most exciting part, is that you can just do whatever. Look at Dean Blunt. Like, it's another example of someone who just breaks all of the rules all the time and continues to like be prolific.
Definitely.
So there's so many different versions and just different ways to go about presenting your art. That's just like forever fascinating and forever inspiring. Because there literally is no end to it.
I think it's funny. Like Enoch and I like both grew up religious, and then so I think there's like the Terrence Malik connection. Same with like Kanye and shit too. Where I'm like, when a movie's like vaguely Christian, not even vaguely for his stuff. He's super Christian. but like when it's like and like Kanye like struggling with his faith and stuff, it's like just so fire to listen to. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, me too, man. Like, he's just like me.
When we watched Tree of Life, it was like, was it 5 or 6 of us? I think it was 5.
Yeah.
It was my girlfriend Kelsey, her friend Connor. They didn't really grow up religious, and then me, David, and Jeff grew up religious and walked out of that movie like, what the fuck? And they were just like,
But it's interesting because I think we like you were saying, you had met like, or not met, like you knew people who are like also religious, either now or earlier, who like kind of hate that movie.
Yeah, but that's because like we're like religion pilled. Like we're like slowly inching further back to faith. So we're like, yo, like.
There's like sometimes Christian shit is the worst.
But sometimes it's the best.
But sometimes it's so good. Like,
For
what was
sure.
that one movie by what's his fuck? The guy did Black Swan. He made a
Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, Darren Aronofsky. He
Mother?
made that, no, it wasn't Mother though.
Noah.
It was Noah.
Yeah.
Like that, I fucking hated that movie.
I think that movie's funny.
Yeah.
I liked Mother though.
Do you like Mother? I liked Mother until I feel like such a hater. No, I thought it was a good movie. I just like, it was one of those things where like when you figure it out, you're like, oh. But that was also that was when I was still like an atheist that I watched that movie.
True.
So I gotta revisit.
No, like it is. Like, it's like an easy metaphor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Then when it's like clicks and you're like, oh right, like you want a little bit more mystery. Like that seems like a movie that could have been summed up in a couple words.
Yeah, but do you think like also like if it being like an allegory the whole time was like a big reveal, you'd have been like, yo. You know what I mean? Like this.
I might have just been stupid when I watched it, but it was kind of a big reveal to me.
Like I guess there was
I mean?
I think the thing too was like someone kind of spoiled it for me.
Yeah, right. So you knew it
like,
going in.
As soon as like they entered and like he was called like father or some shit, I was like, oh.
You're like,
But like, I guess it would. Yeah, fair point. You know, it's just like it's one of those things. I don't know, maybe because I already knew.
Yeah.
But it's a hard thing to approach, you know, and it's like either, how do you, and it's like a story as old as time. Yeah. Like, how do you do that anymore? You know, are you just there for the ride and you're like, fuck it, this is fun? Or is it like, surprise, Mother Nature?
I think that was the thing I didn't like about it, is he took a story that was as old as time, you know? He took like an allegorical tale that has been told and then tried to make it a twist film.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
Which it's like, what? I don't know.
Doesn't the film that you're writing right now have a twist though?
I mean, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with twist. No, I mean, M. Night Shyamalan twist versus that twist are a bit different. But there's nothing wrong with twist. But when you take a story that's like that's like, I don't know. Like, it's like trying to tell the story of Jesus with a twist at the end.
Yeah.
He dies.
What?
But I mean, maybe that's the funny shit about like Terrence Malick movies. It's like, it's not allegory. It's like just Christian values.
Yeah.
You know, which is like the funniest shit of all time. Like, I think the last one we watched was like Song to Song. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I love Song to Song.
And spoilers again, there's nothing funnier than a musician giving it all up to go do like manual labor. and go like work on the oil rig because that's what God wanted for him. Like that is insane. And then I was like watching that, and I was like, damn. If only. It made it look so good.
Oh my god.
So, and that I think that movie to me was like more Christian than The Tree of Life, and that has like a 30-minute creation sequence in it, you know.
Yeah.
And then that was like his thing, where like there's like the like weird shit about relationships in it that are like, again, very like Christian values type thing.
I need to fucking watch this movie.
Yeah.
But then just like
we got to do a Terrence Malik.
Well, I'd have to watch it with you guys because there's no way in hell Lauren's like, she's like, absolutely. We're watching Friends with Benefits. Okay, fine.
Also banger.
It is a
Very good Christian movie.
no, it's funny. I don't know, and like I don't. It's just all beautiful.
Yeah.
And like funny as hell sometimes. Just like give it all up. Give it all up. Go live in nature.
Get the oil rig.
Honestly, I feel like my life's taking me there. Right? We've been talking about this. We're like, man, we just need to do some manual labor.
I'm like,
Let's get back to the real world.
like it's so crazy. I feel like everyone like when you're, I don't know, when you're in like the creative world or whatever, you hit the mid-20s and you're like, man, I just gotta go work.
I want my life to be as simple as like fucking nailing something.
That's like literally kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of this pod, being like, just need some good old fashioned structure.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Like I want to build a house so bad.
Of course, and I mean, like, same.
Yeah.
That's something I talk about, and I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie, I have no interest in building a house. You guys can do that shit all you want.
Cop the crib.
I'll live in it.
yeah, no, it's like shit like that, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like, I don't know, you watch movies like that, and you're like, man, this is what it's all about. And then I know my ass would be out on the oil rig. What the fuck would I be doing there?
Getting jokes off?
Hell no. Like, I would not be getting anything done.
It's like that. You guys see that Twitter video that was like going around a lot?
Yes,
Those
yes.
guys,
Oh my god. Yeah.
like covered in grease and they're like wearing Tim's and like low cut jeans. It's so sick.
That shit's crazy.
Real men.
Yeah, to be a real man.
I know. In a different life. Damn.
Shit.
Holy shit.
We're gonna go build a house.
Yeah.
After this.
Yeah.
In a few years.
But we are building houses in our own way.
Yeah.
Go on, Austin. Speak more on that.
Itself. Like, you know, we're all building something. Yeah. You know?
For sure.
Might not be with our hands quite in the same way. We're not.
I'm building things with my mind.
Well, you're building shit with instruments.
Building our lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah,
It's the same creative force. Like building a house. It's all a creative force.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not gonna keep you warm.
No.
No.
Fuck. I'm at this point of the night. Where
Yeah, I know. I was like, this is why this is called bonus content.
Oh shit.
Austin gets on his soapbox. And, oh man. All right, I think we.
I think we covered everything.
I think we got it.
Cool.
Covered the whole thing.
Anything else you guys wanted to say?
Didn't even hit Kanye.
I know.
Oh shit! Should we get into
Yeah, save it for later. Or
I have nothing to say. You guys.
I know.
This is your guys, but I mean, I want to hear it.
We could also save it for another time, or we could just go in right now. Let's just go in.
I think you should go in.
We'll do a little bit. We'll just
yeah, rapid fire.
We'll just rapid fire. So my man is having a meltdown on Instagram again right now. Have you been following this?
Can we count it as a meltdown?
It seems pretty like righteous.
This one's actually really funny though.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Like, I've gotten to that point, and maybe this is like that thing, like, where you're like enabling someone to act badly.
Yeah.
It's like, even in his most unreasonable, I see the reasonable through line.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like, Adidas and Gap stealing ideas from him after him making them that much money is incredibly fucked up.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
We've all seen those fake like foam runners from Adidas. Like, you know, that shit is crazy.
Yeah.
And I do think like the whole thing of like his kids, bad way to go about it. But things are different when you are in the public sphere and like your entire life is publicized. And I think running to like be like, oh, like look, his mental health is deteriorating. It's hard for me to feel comfortable to say that.
Yeah.
Because like this is also like the most outspoken artist like
maybe ever.
Maybe ever. So like I don't know. That's my thoughts.
No, I completely agree, and I think that people are just so. But you're right. He's playing into it in a sense. You know, it's like we're adding fuel to the fire by being like, "Go yay, go yay," and he's just like, you know, literally posting screenshots of LinkedIn's. Like
So
that is
fucking funny.
So funny. So. I have a screenshot on my phone right now. That's just like when it was just the LinkedIn, and it's just like Kanye West verified check, like 16 million followers, and it's just like people. It's just like
Positive
at the end of the day, that is about as a high art as it gets in my mind. But no, it's like these are the things that always just get me going and keep me excited. Is there's just like we were saying with the Frank stuff. It's like you just never know.
Yeah.
Like what is gonna happen next? Like I don't know. What Donda 2? Like who knows? Like it's all just so fascinating to me. And I can't look away. And I just like, you know, even when it's like anything. Even when he does things that I don't like, I still think they are important. Which is like people. I've gotten into some debates with people about this stuff. But we'll use MAGA era as an example. I'm not a Trump supporter. Yeah. Just to be clear. But I'm not going to pretend that he was actually making some really fascinating work at that specific point. Yeah. That just didn't make sense with what we were expecting. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a timeline shift, like a split. Like that like shouldn't have happened. But he made some of the most unhinged, like wildly amazing music at that time. Like, again, totally hot take, but the song Ecstasy, I think is like... one of his craziest things ever, and it's one of my favorites. I like listened to it a couple of days ago, and I was just like, I don't know how the fuck he did this. Like it just makes that song makes no sense. Yeah. Sonically, lyrically, it's just like there's like so much of it is just so wild to me. But like that's fascinating to me. That's as fascinating to me as A Jesus Walks is, because it's just like two different ends of the spectrum. One that's just so perfect pop, and one that is so just experimental and weird from the same artist. That's what I think is like cool. And like I just feel like we need it. I feel like it's important to have artists in our... This is definitely bonus content. This is not going on Spotify. But just like I think it's important to like follow artists through, or find a way to understand artists through the decisions they make. Yeah. Being that I don't like perfect art. I don't like like I like certain things that are lo-fi. I like certain things that are a little different, or ideas that are different. And it's like, and I could use that with the trajectory of Kanye West. It's like I like looking back and seeing where he started to where he is now. That is arguably the most fascinating part of Kanye to me. Definitely. Is being like, how did you get here? Yeah. And like missteps or steps, like whatever. It's like that whole timeline is forever fascinating to me, because you also look at the work that comes out around it, and it's like all so different. Like, you know, there's those drawings of like the different Kanyes, like with the albums, and it's like, you know, like Yeezus era, or like Twisted Fantasy, or it's all just different. There's just so much surrounding it that's just like so fascinating to me. Yeah.
I mean, I just think the thing is too, and to that is like, I feel like the way that Kanye is seen in public, like, really reinforces this idea of the way that we look as artists as like constructs and like almost like machines rather than like actual people. Artists, like really artists to the T, because like I think the truth of the matter is that like we like Kanye because like he is who he is, so he has to be who he is.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about like Azealia Banks, for example.
Yeah.
And I think she's one of the most like prolific, important artists that like we'll ever have. And like there are so many times that I disagree with her, but it's not about just disagreeing with her and that means I have a dissonance with her completely.
Exactly.
You know what? Like, because I want to understand her as a person and also understand myself as a person. Yeah. So I want to interface with that. There's obviously like stretches and limits to like where, you know, this all goes.
Yes.
But I think you have to engage in it, especially when artists are like someone who's talked, both of those artists, very openly about their struggles. Why are you mad now? You know, like when they're saying like things that are like maybe somewhat related to that, to the way that they feel. Like, I don't know.
But I just think it's important to like, I don't want to listen to, or an artist that is like, you know, like me, let's say, an artist that like thinks the exact same thing that I think, likes the same things that I like, does the same things that I do. Like that is not necessarily something that I would want. That wouldn't be exciting to me. Like I like the idea of something challenging. I like the idea, and I'm not saying that these things are necessarily good, but I'm just saying the challenge of it, at the very least, gets you thinking.
Exactly.
And it gets you kind of being like, okay, well, it's just interesting. It just
transports you into a different mind space too, which is like the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It's like I'm okay with like Kanye saying ridiculous things. That doesn't mean that I agree with what he's saying, but like, the music slaps.
End of the day.
It does. Did you? I'm sure you watched Genius.
Of course.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
I cried.
I finally watched it. Like Enoch watched it again with me.
Yeah.
Like earlier this year or something. It was insane. Which
It's
is like understatement.
Also like the most like authentic documentary I've seen about an artist.
Yeah.
Where like, you know, like that's like so many artists have these documentaries that come about them, and they glorify them and they make
Well,
them,
they're made by the artist.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like the Travis Scott documentary. Executive producer Travis Scott.
Exactly. But this one was just like, holy shit, this is like insane. You know, it shows all of his complexities.
Yeah.
You know.
We were talking about it like, and we were saying like it's crazy that something like that exists for someone who's still alive.
Yeah, I know.
Because it really feels like a eulogy.
Yeah, it does. I know. Which is kind of the scary part.
Yeah.
Like,
But he's still like you know, at the front of everything right now. Like everyone, obviously, when he speaks, people listen. Like he hasn't even lost relevancy.
Oh yeah, no,
you
it's
know,
still
like, and I don't know
arguably one of the most relevant in the world
forever.
Like,
And just like even seeing, you know, that story of the first album and like the second and whatever, that was still semi-recent, and then imagining all the things they don't show.
Oh yeah,
all of that.
Like when
shit.
he's like, I had to cut the cameras because it was just like that scene was like pretty fucked up. Like when it was just like him just like talking. I don't remember what he said. It's been a while since I've seen it, obviously, but I remember watching that and being like, yikes. Like, and he's like just with those like weird white guys. You know, like this is not good.
But like all those albums in between like Present Day and like College Dropout, whatever, like all the stuff we just haven't seen, you know, and like so how many times he's changed music and changed like visual stuff, like literally every time.
I know
Can't miss.
I know.
It's crazy.
Do you guys like Donda?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Donda's like could be. You can make a perfect album out of Donda. You can make
fair.
There's things that don't have.
You have to sequence it a certain way.
I wish they didn't change the track list.
Yeah,
with
the deluxe.
Oh god, it was so bad.
It's trash.
Yeah.
So bad. Well, it had Life of the Party though.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, the actual album. That arrangement just made no sense.
Yeah.
I think it had more to do with like streaming.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is there like a favorite of yours right now? Like a favorite album by him?
Honestly, Donda. I feel like I still listen to Donda. I almost bought the vinyl, because I went to. But the funniest part is that like going back to packaging and whatnot. Like obviously you know that the cover is just black.
Yeah.
The vinyl it's like something like 8 discs or something. And it's just like it's all black, no text, no nothing. And I was like, am I really gonna drop like $100 like a giant
That you're
black
actually not
square?
gonna listen to.
And I was like, I can't justify that.
Yeah,
Like, I can't
yeah.
even like put it on my wall. It's black. It's like nothing.
But you should just get a black square.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will just buy it to be honest, but no.
Yeah. For me, it's Pablo right now.
Yeah, Pablo has always been. Well, Pablo was like, I feel like, well, that was also that same time when we were like,
Yeah.
coming in.
2016,
and,
baby.
True,
it was-
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like that album.
The original
was
vibe
insane.
shift.
Yeah.
I feel like even when it like, I mean, I liked it when it came out,
Yeah.
but I think maybe I didn't get it yet.
Yeah.
You know, and then like going back, because like I mean, I don't know, like Father Stretch My Hands, like obviously you're
Yeah.
hearing that all the fucking
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And it's a great song, but then like going back to it.
Going back to Silver Surfer interlude.
Yeah.
Even that, I'm like, yeah,
It's fire.
yeah, like that's crazy. But like, I mean, all the songs, like Ultralight Beam,
Yeah,
again,
FML.
like
Yeah.
FML.
Yeah. No, it's I've also
Wolves,
been going back
like,
down
yeah.
to Pablo as well, and just like because I feel like it was actually somewhat overlooked at the time. Not
Yeah.
overlooked, but it wasn't given the like cultural like. No, it's not cultural. It wasn't given the critical acclaim that
Yeah.
other albums did. It was kind
Yeah.
of like here's this kind of mishmash mess of a thing that was edited and keeps changing, and like songs are added in at the end, like that, like
Right.
what's it called, like Saint Pablo or whatever.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
great
yeah.
song, but like things like that, just like people just didn't understand how to digest that album. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and I don't know if maybe it was just like, yeah, like of the time or like
Mm-hmm.
who I was around or something. But I felt like all I was hearing people talk about was like Father Stretch My Hands or like the Taylor line.
Yeah.
on Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then even going back to it, I'm like, that line, like, got talked about so much that like people couldn't even talk about how fucking good that song
Yeah,
is.
it's-
And we also forget, because I was reading about this. I was reading about this actually a couple weeks ago, randomly. But do you remember the video that came out for that?
Yeah.
Insane.
No one talks about that. That shit has been
Insane.
like almost wiped off the internet. Like you can't even find the video.
Oh, it's not on YouTube?
It
anymore?
might be on YouTube actually.
Okay.
Maybe it's on. No, because didn't someone sue? I don't know.
Yeah.
I did watch it. I can't remember if it was on YouTube or on like Vimeo or something. But yeah, that video is insane.
Yeah.
Not only having the naked. Have you seen the video?
I don't think I have. I'm trying
It's
to.
Kanye.
I think I.
It's Kanye in bed with like every famous person.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, I don't.
And it's just
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
like Donald Trump and fucking
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
And they're like
yeah,
they're like wax
Wait,
figures
yeah.
or something, right?
I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
forgot about that.
It was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
displayed in like an art gallery. It was like an
Oh,
actual
shit.
like
Yeah.
piece. Yeah. But the craziest part of that video is like the song plays. For, like the video is like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
3 minutes of it is the song, and the other like 7 is just like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it's just breathing.
So
and it's just like
crazy.
weird
About
zoom
that.
ins on their faces.
Yeah.
It's like pretty crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's really sick.
Holy shit! I totally forgot about that video.
But then it also created this whole discourse because some people considered it like revenge porn.
yeah,
Which is a
Right.
gray area, to be honest. It's like it kind of is, and it's like it's not actually them. It's
Yeah.
not. There's no.
their
it's-
likeness.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
into like I don't know. We don't have to go down that road, but but it was an
Opinions of
interesting
the
piece
guests do
work.
not reflect the.
Well, we're paywalled.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, no, he's always gonna be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the Ye in Conversation,
Have you read that?
I love
that
that
interview
conversation.
is
So good.
so good. And
Yeah.
it's what the funniest thing to me, and also what makes it so good, is like reading them disagreeing with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the
Oh,
funniest
yeah.
shit of like Ye will just like describe something,
And he'd be like, "No."
Tino's just like, I don't think you're right.
Is that
Yeah, like, I don't-
that's the one where he says he told Lauryn Hill that he was the leader. Does he say it in that one?
I don't know if it's in that one actually.
Okay, my fault.
This is the one where he's talking about like staging his own funerals.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to have like I'm gonna like have my own funeral. Like I want to be there for my own funeral. And I guess this was something he had planned for some sort of like performance art piece or something, and like didn't end up doing it.
It's so, I mean, even that, like, it's so cool. And I think, you know, I think when I think of like inspirations
Mm-hmm.
from like Kanye, you know, it's like that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know, like, and obviously we don't do it at that level. But like someone like him who can just like think so huge and be on that like performance art or like you know, this isn't even about the music, this is about me as a person. He's like something I think we try to like get towards in like a smaller degree, but like is certainly something in the future, you know, that like talking about down the line or something, unlimited budget, like shit like
well, I think it
the
comes
money
down
phone funeral.
But it comes down to like creating a world at the end. It's just creating a world, whether it be big or smaller, within reason. It's just creating something beyond just like one medium.
And he's done such a good job of that.
Absolutely.
Oh
totally.
my god.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget watching the Runaway short film.
The fucking drumliner scene with the Michael Jackson shit. Oh my god.
Wild. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Damn. I almost need to rewatch that. It's been a while.
There's so much shit I'm coming away from this pod from being like, oh man, I gotta go down that pipeline.
I mean, I know knowing you, I know you're gonna go home and you're gonna watch that fucking Wax video.
Yeah.
You're like, this I gotta see.
No, I've definitely seen that. What are you trying to say with that?
It's just it seems like a very Austin. You know, I don't think you're gonna watch Runaway, but I think you might watch. You might watch this. Damn, well, we're running on to about 2 hours here. This has been good. This has been good.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap up.
Yeah, anything you guys want to shout out?
World Peace Inside Me.
Yeah.
And dance music.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
All the
2023.
friends. Everyone. Shout out to Cold Pod.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming through, guys. This is really fun.
Thank you for having me.
This is great. We'll have another one. We'll have another one post the album.
Sick.
Reoccurring character.
I just fade away. Fade away. I fade away, yeah. I think too much. I feel it. Your love is fading. I feel it. Roll up, hold up, pull up. I love I wanna, I'm tryna feel it. I'ma rock the boat, work the middle till it hurt a little. It. Your love is fading. I feel it. Fucking with a real ass nigga. I feel it. Fuck, can you feel ass nigga? I feel it. Bitch better act like you know better. I feel it. Whoa. When no one ain't around. I feel it fade. I think too much. I feel it fade. Ain't nobody watching. I feel it fade. I just fade away. I feel it fade.